This presentation will be on human environment geography and the research tradition which has shaped it. The reading is After 1492, Nature Rebounds. So to start, what is human environment geography? The human environment tradition of geography focuses on the relationship between human geography and physical geography, or in other words, how humans and the environment interact, both affecting one and each other. The article is not necessarily is not presenting any new research, but is a literature survey of collected from various sources, which attempts to propose that nature was rebounding after 1492 and had not always been the sort of pristine, unchanged landscape that the Europeans first encountered when they made it to the Americas. The article really goes into how humans that were living in America before 1492 affected the landscape of the continent, and in doing so dispels what the article refers to as the pristine myth that the Native Americans that were living there were in harmony with their environment, that neither really affected each other that much, or that the environment was affecting the Native Americans, and the Native Americans were not having a particularly strong effect on their environment, which through several examples the article shows is not true at all. They conducted burnings which cleared vast amounts of land of forest cover in order to better suit the environment for their needs for hunting, for foraging. They had large amounts of agriculture, and these effects of hunting and foraging changed the environment of the Americas. It reduced the amounts of game, the amounts of animals such as elk or buffalo. It changed which plants were in the forest, and the pristine environment that Europeans found was a result not of the Native Americans living in harmony with the environment, but the result of their own arrival. The diseases that they brought massively reduced the Native American population, and due to this lack of any human presence, the environment sort of rebounded to how it would have been before any humans, maybe. And there were plains and prairies, farmland got filled in with forests. There was much more food for animals such as the passenger pigeon, and there were no longer as many predators for animals such as buffalo, and it resulted in uh, massive amounts of game, uh, unending woodlands, and that is what led the Europeans to view this as a pristine landscape, which was not true. The research tradition that paved the way for articles such as this and this way of thinking, according to Pattinson, started with On Airs, Waters, and Places, which is an extensive essay by Hippocrates, who was a Greek physician in the 5th century BC, and was a very early attempt at this way of thinking, which is that humans and the environment interact with each other, and that they can affect each other in many ways, such as in On Airs, Waters, and Places, how different places have different environments, such as the air and the water, and that this can affect people's health, which is one of Hippocrates' biggest areas of interest. And this tradition, according to the Four Traditions article, is referred to as the man-land tradition. But this way of thinking is, as told by him, very old and has gone through several different names, but has remained this basic train of thought. However, much of the modern tradition of human environment geography, as we would call it, has been a reaction against environmental determinism, which is now a outdated way of thinking, but for a long time kind of held sway over the field and held that the environment and humans didn't just interact, but the environment of places determined the people and the cultures that would arise there. And a lot of the work has been undoing that way of thinking and viewing it as a little more equitable, as humans having lot of a lot of ability to affect the environment and the ability to change the landscape to suit their needs, such as how the Native Americans had been doing before any Europeans had arrived. One figure who did a lot to shape how we think about geography is Carl Sauer, who founded the Berkeley School of Thought. He did lots of work on many different areas, many different cultures, and really shaped how we view cultural landscapes today. And another important thing he did, which ties in very closely with the article and a lot of the changes in human environment geography, is his critique of environmental determinism, which I've already given some examples of, but he was one of the first to really go out against it with lots of proof and changed the field of geography in a lasting way. And it's probably due to him that we have given up a lot of deterministic ideas about geography.